Why hello again. In this video, I'm going to complete the story of the Saturday afternoon, now Saturday evening business session of the 2019 NCGOP State Convention. Now, I want to explain something to you. At this point of the convention, there's no air conditioning. The room is packed, about 1,300 people. And they even had an overflow room for guests to watch the convention via closed circuit television, right? So the room was full of hot air. Haha, political or also hot air's temperature. How hot was it? Well, be right back. I was wearing, excuse me, can you hear the audio? I don't know if you can, but I was wearing this shirt, okay? A nice button-down plaid shirt. And I had almost all the buttons unbuttoned, right? It was like, oh my gosh, I'm stripping naked at a local convention here. Crazy, right? But it was just so hot in the convention hall. I was doing anything I could to stay cool. A lot of other people were. God has a sense of humor, right? Yes, he does. Amen to that, right? It kind of reminded me of when I'm at my job. It's like where I work it's always they have the heat on too high in the wintertime, and they have the AC on too low in the summertime. So I'm always sweating. But there's a couple reasons for that besides temperature. There's the fact that I gotta wear 2 layers of a top at my job, right? The shirt and the vest. And oh no, did I just give my employer away? Maybe. I don't know. And then, of course, I got to move around a lot. I'm cashier, so I'm standing. I'm constantly, waving my arms, scanning stuff, and bagging stuff. And saying, hello, how you doing? 299,700 times a day or whatever. But yeah, the venue, what was this place called? The Embassy Suites Concord Convention Center, something like that. But the place was hot. So let me get back into this now. We are now on the election of a vice chairwoman, in this case, vice chairwoman, in this particular race for the NCGOP. And we have first up to the plate to speak for the candidate, Sarah Reedy Jones, is former defeated Representative William Brawley. As you can see, the way I said his name, I'm not a big fan of William Brawley. I'll say, okay, he's a Republican, that's good, but he's kind of a rhino, kind of an establishment guy, and there's been I've had some friends of mine who have had some unpleasant exchanges with Representative Brawley, and I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so Representative William Brawley starts his speech off with, why should we listen to someone who lost in Mecklenburg County? So William Brawley tells this World War II story, and I'll be honest with you, the room was so hot, I was sweating so much, And I've never been a big fan of like war stories, except for like the Civil War maybe. But yeah, this one just went in my ear and out the other. But yeah. However, he does get to some politics, which is nice. He said in 2016, Roy Cooper got 52% of the vote in 8 urban counties. I think that figure's right. Now, had 92 other counties increased their votes, their Republican votes for McCrory by 11%, McCrory would have won. Now, William Brawley tells us what we already know, which is Pat certainly wasn't perfect. No crap, Crayola. He was not perfect. Of course not. But then he said something that really ticked me off. Here's what he said. He said, the strong GOP counties must run like swing counties and run up the score. Now look, if you have a strong Republican county, then yeah, you make it stronger. But I also read this statement as kind of an excuse, like Representative Brawley's like, these liberal locusts are chewing up Mecklenburg County and there's nothing I can do about it. Help. Now, what Representative Brawley and company should be doing is they should be fighting for every vote they possibly can in Mecklenburg County, right? Because look, even in a city like Charlotte, there are at least, Charlotte's what? 500,000 people, something like that. There's got to be at least 100,000 people in that city that vote Republican, or at least think conservatively, right? So, if you get all those people to the polls, and think about how many people vote in elections. I mean, most presidential years, if you're getting 55-60%, you're doing pretty good. Most elections, you're lucky if you get 40-45% of registered voters, right? So it's always a numbers game, people. Yeah, it's, I'm just William Brawley. Hey. But he said of Sarah Reed Jones, a fighter, she knows how to fight back. And then she had some endorsements. Isaac of Swain, a guy by the name of Isaac of Swain County, he was also the second vice chair of the 11th Congressional District, endorsed her, as well as a gentleman named Richard of Mecklenburg County. And then we had Clark Reamer, the former chair of the NC Young Republicans. And we had another Guilford County person offer their endorsement, and that is Mrs. Deanna Barnes of Guilford County, who is the wife of our unfortunately former sheriff, B.J. Barnes. Danny Rogers is such a bleh. It's like, oh, BJ, why did you lose in 2018? Ugh. Anyway. Okay, then we have Nathan Miller of Watauga County, who puts Anne Marie Yates' name in nomination as a vice chair candidate. Anne Marie Yates is from some county in the mountains. I did not write down what county. Oh, no, Watauga. Excuse me. Blah, blah, blah. And then we had a person by the name of last name Woodhouse. Now, this is not Dallas Woodhouse. This is not his wife here. This is somebody else with the last name of Woodhouse. A man from Dare County gave a nomination speech for Anne Marie Yates. And he says, there are thousands of fragments of shells as I run along the beach along the Outer Banks. He says, we need workers, not showers. She was raised mountain strong. She's going to travel full time for the party. And there will be a live human being answering phones at GOP headquarters. Okay? Now, people who seconded the nomination was Representative Jonathan Jordan of Ashe County. Third was Gary Terry of Bertie County. And then we had somebody from Wilkes County. Unfortunately, I did not get their name. Finally, Kelsey Brown submits the name of Montgomery County, North Carolina, not Maryland. Montgomery County, North Carolina, which is a itty bitty small rural county in south central North Carolina. Kelsey Brown submits Miriam Chu, her name, as a candidate for vice chair. Okay. And he says that Miriam Chu is very, very, very active and has driven very many miles, worked in many campaigns. She will work with Michael Whatley. There's not going to be a Miriam Chu is a Tea Party warrior and Michael Whatley is all establishment, and there's going to be this clash of wings. No. She will work with Michael Whatley. And update, now that we're like 8 months past convention and election, Miriam Chu and Michael Whatley have done a fabulous job working together for the North Carolina Republican Party. I must say that. Good job to both of you. Okay. Miriam Chu, let's see, Kelsey Brown also said that Miriam Chu will help form precincts and get unmanned precincts up and running. She will also make a full-time commitment to the job. She has experience and she is ready to go full-time on day one. Now, the big difference in this race is that, well, Anne Marie Yates and Miriam Chu are both older women who are retired. So they can give a full-time commitment to the vice chairmanship. Now, Sarah Reedy Jones is a youngster. Well, she's older than me. She's pushing 40, somewhere just under 40, I believe. But she is not retired. Obviously, she works in the marketing industry. So she cannot give a full-time commitment. And Miriam Chu did a really good job, spoiler alert, in this race to bring that point home, that you can elect Sarah Reedy Jones, a good candidate, a good, strong young Republican, but she's not going to give you a full-time commitment. I'm Miriam Chu. I have tons of experience. I work with both. I have great relationships with both the establishment wing and the Tea Party wing of the GOP. I have tons of experience. I can give a full-time commitment. Sarah Reedy Jones cannot. There you go. Okay, then second nominations we had Mrs. K from Moore County, Betty Edwards of Cabarrus County, and our buddy, the honorable, very honorable, because he's doing such a good job, Representative Keith Kidwell of Beaufort County places Miriam Chu's name into nomination. So we now we have the speeches from the actual candidates. Sarah Reedy Jones speaks first, and she says she would do a better job of localizing efforts, especially in the urban elections. She was the youth outreach chair for the state Republican women. She's been a state YR chair. She organized five state deployments back in 2008 when she served as the NCYR chair. She also organized a rally back in August of 2018 to kick off the volunteer efforts for the 2020 RNC. However, I will say this event was very poorly announced. I mean, I found out about this event on Facebook like 5 days before it happened. It was on Saturday. Of course, I work in retail. I need at least 3 to 4 weeks notice to clear my schedule, these events, especially if it's Saturday. If it's a weeknight, but if it's a weekend, definitely, probably a month's notice, but that didn't happen. Oh, she was also acting chair for 2 months of Guilford County back in 2014 because the chair had dropped out for work and health reasons. She also wanted to say she's 1,000% more Native American than Elizabeth Warren. That's a good one, Sarah. She wants to focus on Democrats and not on infighting, and that is another Theodore Roosevelt reference. Excuse me. Then we have Anne Marie Yates from the Yodelay-hee-hoo Mountains. Well, she took a shot at her buddy Brant Clifton in the Daily Haymaker. She said, the Daily Haymaker says I split the vote. She says, no, I win the vote. She says the saddest day in the history of the North Carolina General Assembly was the failure to override Governor Cooper Pooper's veto of the Born Alive bill. If you don't know what the Born Alive bill is, let me tell you. If a baby if an attempt is made to abort a baby, kill a baby, and that baby survives the abortion attempt, this bill would give the baby who was aborted or attempted to be aborted, would give that baby the proper medical care. Okay, that's what this bill would do. Guess who vetoed it? And this is one of his most Roy Cooper has been awful, just awful for North Carolina. But the worst thing that he has done as governor in this state, beautiful state, North Carolina, worst thing he's ever done was veto this bill. So, Anne Marie Yates, yeah, I agree 100%. Saddest day in the General Assembly history, absolutely. Vetoing this Born Alive bill. I mean, how could anybody, regardless of what your political persuasion is, how could anybody, we all have souls, don't we? How could any living human being veto this bill? Crazy, I know. But Anne Marie Yates also worked as precinct chair, and she worked up to become a co-chair of the Watauga County Republican Party. If you don't know anything about Watauga County, that is the Boone, North Carolina, Appalachian State University, and that sort of thing. She's also been a Central Committee member, serving as Assistant Secretary. She has 5 daughters, so she says conflict resolution is her life. And she says the NCGOP definitely needs better outreach in the rural counties. She also says she wants to expand the vice chair job to 2 or 3 vice chairs. And she said this final, kind of a load of crap, but I'll say it anyway. We are not Tea Party Republicans or establishment Republicans. We are Republicans. Right? Anyway. And yes, look, ever since Donald Trump became president, I will say that the party is much more unified. And I mean, and also the NCGOP, ever since Michael Whatley and Miriam Chu took this office, has also been very well unified. But still, yeah, there's a few moles still in the apparatus. Okay, now to our sister buddy, our buddy Miriam Chu, a sister Chu. She says in her speech, she said she wants to put ego aside and create winning teams and make everybody they feel they have a role to play. Getting out in the field is the best thing for the NCGOP to do, not sit behind a desk and make plans. She also says the vice chair must be engaged with precinct chairs, county chairs, and says that we have 100 counties with 1,000 different ideas that Raleigh needs to hear. She says ever since her campaign started back in February, over a 4-month period, she's traveled 12,000 miles. And she wanted to let everyone know that in November 2018, there was no blue wave in Moore County. No, it was a red tsunami because every single Republican that was on the ballot in Moore County won their office. She also has 2 years trained with Freedom Works on social media. She says every GOP voice in the state must be listened to. I agree completely with that. So we must come together to be Democrats. Yeah, that goes without saying. Okay. Now at this time, we have a point of order from our buddy Mike Lyons of Macon County. He says that a lot of people left after the chairman's election and that there are extra voting devices on the floor, left on the floor as people have left. There was a motion on the floor to deactivate the devices, all devices in the convention hall, and then reactivate them so there can be a fair count, fair vote taken for the vice chair's election. And this motion, no surprise, it carried. It better carried. Anyway, okay. Let's see. 7:32 p.m. now. People are leaving. A lot of people left immediately after casting their vote for vice chair. Not a lot of people waiting around for results, and the room is hot. 8 p.m. we go to a runoff. A runoff election has been announced in the vice chair race. So what has happened now at 8 o'clock? Okay. None of the 3 candidates broke 50%. What happens then is the candidate with the least amount of votes drops off the ballot, and a new vote is taken between 2 candidates. Anne Marie Yates got the lowest amount of votes, so she is off the election now, and it's between Miriam Chu and Sarah Reedy Jones. Okay. At 8:02 p.m., the devices are powered off and then reset again. At 8:05 p.m., we have a system reset, and then 8:07 p.m. we have a log in time. And then there's like an 8 minutes of delays and hey, I can't get my device to work. 8 minutes of red tape, and then finally at 8:15 p.m. a vote is taken. Okay, and Miriam Chu barely, because of weighted vote and everything, ekes out a win over Sarah Reedy Jones. And let me see. What is the final vote count? I believe after weighted voting, 50.3% for Miriam Chu, 49.7% for Jones. Very, very closely divided. Now, as far as counties won, well, that was a little bit more. Miriam Chu won 43 counties, and Sarah Reedy Jones won 38 counties. So that's 81 counties. The rest were either had already left the convention hall, or there were some ties or something like that. Okay, and then finally, we wrap up the Saturday afternoon, evening convention business session with the Dallas Woodhouse show. Okay, so what happens here is, okay, jeez, almost threw this stupid dog. Anyway, 8:33 p.m. Dallas Woodhouse has to give his last word, right? I mean, this convention, I haven't set it up to this point, but this was the Dallas Woodhouse show when no business was being done, when no candidates were speaking. All the other time, Dallas Woodhouse made sure that his voice was heard. He made sure that he had all the stage time in the world. To heck with the fact that the primary for 2020 is going to be in March this year. To heck with the fact that candidate filing begins in December. No, Dallas Woodhouse, he had to do his show. Okay. Now, before I go into his little spiel, and I will cover Dallas Woodhouse's spiel because it is official convention record. But I have a funny little Dallas Woodhouse story to tell you. So, on Friday afternoon, this was probably during the first or second hour of the Friday afternoon session. Tina Forsberg of Guilford County, my home county as well, tries to get Dallas's attention. Now, Dallas, during this time the candidates are speaking, he's constantly walking around the convention floor. Okay, so Tina loudly whispers, Dallas, come here, Dallas. So, I'm sitting in the very front row of the Guilford County delegation. And I have my laptop. I'm typing. And I think Tina is making some sort of signals or something, communicating with Dallas. And, of course, Tina is sitting, I think the row, or, I don't know if it's one row or two rows behind me directly. So Dallas comes up. He leans over, right? Keep in mind, I'm typing. I have my laptop. And it's like his hand, reaches, right? It, reaches, up, It kind of, does that to my computer screen. It's like, really, Dallas? Come on, man. I mean, if it's that important to talk with somebody during a convention, when a convention is going, could you, I don't know, motion for Tina to come out and meet you in the aisle or something? Yeah, I mean, seriously. Don't tap somebody's laptop computer. Come on, man. But Dallas was Dallas. What can I say? There's been some other people in the NCGOP whose experiences with Dallas have been less pleasant than mine. Okay, but there you go. So first, Dallas Woodhouse, he had to give his final kind of speech, I guess you could call it. Speech or spiel, I don't know. He decided. He wanted to thank the interns, college students that have worked on the convention that weekend. His nephew, his neighbor Caleb, also members of his permanent staff, Nation Builder, Jeff Hauser of Communications, and it says over the last 3.5 years he has had the pleasure of working with Greg Fornshell, the accountant for the NCGOP, and he also says Greg has suffered with Dallas at NC State games. Also, wanted to give a shout out to Katie Kuba, who was says going to be a mom soon. She has since had her baby. I think it was in October, so she was probably like 4 or 5 months pregnant at that time. Says Katie's going to be a mom soon, but there's never going to be a finer one. And he says, I thank God every day I got to stand behind that lady. And he says, Greg and Katie, love you both. And he says, gives a motion to adjourn. And the convention adjourned at 8:39 p.m. on Saturday, June 9th, 2019. So that concludes our look at the actual convention. I still have another video to do. Actually, a couple. One is on the Sunday afternoon executive committee meeting, and then also looking at the analyzing the vote totals for the vice chair race. I already have done the chairman's race, still got to do the vice chair. So work's not done yet, but I got a good chunk of it done now for the 2019 convention. So, for the Conservative Pelican, I am Bobby Crawford. Good night. Take care. Bye-bye.